Good morning and welcome to United Way of Southeast Louisiana's Investors Calls to Action December conference call. We really appreciate you joining us today. As we've shared before, United Way of Southeast Louisiana fights for the education, health, and financial stability of every person in every community that we serve. We have a bold vision to eradicate poverty, and we also have a plan. Our blueprint for prosperity is laser focused on ending poverty and building better and brighter futures for us all. And all this work cannot be possible without businesses, nonprofits, foundations, government, churches, schools, and you coming together to break down silos, align programs and resources, and create a stronger, more prosperous, and more equitable Southeast Louisiana. So today, our call is geared towards sharing with you some of the great work that's happening because of your ongoing generosity and support. Before we go into the agenda, I'd like to introduce our board chairman, our chairman of the board, Mr. Rick Haas, President Rick, of Ladder and Bloom Companies. Rick.
Hey, good morning, Michael. Welcome to what is our second United Way investor call. We call them investor calls because it certainly is, through investment of time and money, your investment in our region's future. Our calls are designed to share with you how you're making a difference through your contributions of time and money, and how we're utilizing those resources that you've entrusted with us to build stronger communities across the region. United Way basically engages in two important groups of people to achieve this mission. First, we work with you, the donors, and second, and I do mean resources, real monetary gifts, as well as your time and volunteerism. And then second, we collaborate, or we work with individuals and partner agencies who are helping families break the cycle that keeps them from living safe and secure lives. Not long ago at our annual Tocqueville Awards celebration, Wayne Leonard said, and I think very poignantly, that no person can live a life free of fear when they're worried about how to get or keep a roof over their head, where their next meal will come from, how they'll provide for their children, or when they're only one missed paycheck away from financial ruin. The eradication of poverty, as Michael said, will only come when we take the time to reach back to help provide very early childhood intervention, education, teaching job skills, personal financial management literacy, that is how to manage money, how to get work, how to be gainfully employed, how to stay employed, and how they can create their net worth of their own. The challenge for us, though, is to have the patience to continue to invest in those things which take a long time to produce results, as well as how to take care of the issues of the current moment. When we strike at the root causes of generational poverty, those things take time to germinate, and we're busy doing both, taking care of the immediacy of the moment, as well as reaching back and intervening in early childhood education to help break that cycle. I want to say, on behalf of the entire board of trustees, thank you for all of your support, both large and small. Thank you for being part of what makes Greater New Orleans a great and caring community. And thank you for supporting and especially entrusting United Way as we work to eradicate the scourge of poverty in our region. You are making a difference. And now I'd like to turn the call back over to our United Way Southeast Louisiana CEO, Michael Williamson, so that he can walk us through all that United Way has been doing to put your contributions of time and money to work. Michael, back to you.
Thanks, Rick, and as always, thank you for your leadership and the leadership and support of our entire board of trustees. As we shared, we want to make sure that you're aware of how we're putting your investments to work, and many times the work that we do extends far beyond just investment in programs. It requires partnerships and collaborations that are focused on influencing policy and making changes that allow for improvement in systems. So I'm really glad to report to you on an endeavor we recently engaged with other partners to encourage the New Orleans City Council to invest in early childhood education. And so Mayor Ms. Landrieu, New Orleans City Council members and advocates will actually gather tentatively on December the 15th at Kingsley House in celebration of the historic, first of its kind, $750,000 citywide investment in quality early childhood education seats in New Orleans by the New Orleans City Council and Mayor Mitch Landrieu. So the council is expected to pass that funding at its regular meeting on Thursday of this week. This commitment to our youngest learners signals a commitment to the future of the city of New Orleans. For the first time, we are investing city dollars into educational programs which we know will help to close the educational achievement gap, prepare our students for kindergarten, increase the percentage of children reading on grade level, and decrease violent crime over the course of time. The Institute of Mental Hygiene partnered with Our United Way last year to launch the New Orleans Campaign for Grade Level Reading, a community-wide effort to ensure every New Orleans child can read on grade level by the end of the third grade. This coalition joined Stand for Children, Democrats for Education Reform, and others to advocate for this investment. This commitment puts the city of New Orleans on par with the investments in early education made by just a handful of other progressive cities across the nation and marks the beginning of a long-term commitment to the families of New Orleans. This is an investment that the parents and families of our coalition represents have been asking for and working towards for years. Although council's vote is a great first step, we will need to see this level of effort and commitment from the state as well. As of now, only 15% of Louisiana's children aged birth to 4 have access to publicly funded child care. And we look forward to working with Mayor-elect LaToya Cantrell and the newly elected City Council to continue to fund and grow this extremely important investment for New Orleans children and families. So I'd like to thank all of our partners, our friends at Stand for Children, Institute for Mental Hygiene, Dr. Melanie Bronson, and so many others that play such an important role in this policy success. But to talk more about our community impact work, I'd like to introduce you once again to our Chief Impact Officer, Ms. Mary.
Thank you, Michael. Once again, I'm Mary Ann Rose, Chief Impact Officer, and I lead the community impact work here at United Way of Southeast Louisiana. Community impact is responsible for identifying community problems and developing strategic solutions. With committees of dedicated community volunteers, we work to ensure that donor dollars are invested in quality programs, collaborations, and internal initiatives to address poverty in our 7-parish area. I'm so excited to share with you this morning our journey to create the blueprint for our prosperity that Rick and Michael both referenced. In 2015, our journey began with staff conducting over 60 community conversations, talking to over 600 people in all 7 of our parishes. The purpose of these conversations was to better understand what people wanted for their community and to identify those barriers to achieving their aspirations. After we did those conversations, we themed all of those conversations and identified 8 major themes that were issues around education, health, safety, equity, racism, family, community, politicians, and economic development. But the underlying thread in every conversation was poverty. We also heard that people who were not considered to be living in poverty were also struggling to make ends meet. Our ALICE report clearly supported what we were hearing in our community conversations. The report shows that while 19% of our population is living in poverty, another 23% are struggling to make ends meet. We call them ALICE, Asset Limited Income Constraint Employed. Therefore, our blueprint not only addresses the need of those in poverty, but also our ALICE population. In the spring of 2016, with the help of many volunteers, including some of you that are on this call this morning, the Blueprint for Our Prosperity was created with a bold vision of equitable communities where all individuals are healthy, educated, and economically stable. And in order to achieve this vision, our work had to focus on achieving 4 high-level outcomes. Stability today, ensuring that all families have the skills, resources, and opportunities to access basic needs. Prosperity tomorrow, where all families have the social, educational, and financial assets to create a better future, that they have personal wellness, that people of all ages enjoy a high quality of life and well-being, and that we live in vibrant communities where all people are safe, thriving, and equitable. To achieve these outcomes, To achieve these outcomes, we concentrate our efforts on 4 strategies, the 4 I's, if you will. The first I is for invest, and this strategy guides how we expend our resources, including funding, staff time, volunteers. How we invest is critical. The second I is for inspire, focused on inspiring others to adopt the poverty eradication agenda. The third I is for inform, focused on sharing knowledge around the issue of poverty and lifting up innovative practices to address it. And the last I stands for initiate, focused on creating new initiatives where there are gaps. So this morning, I really want to focus on the I, the initiative, and just tell you about the exciting work we're doing under that strategy. And I'm going to turn it over to our VP for Financial Capability, Odessa Adams-Payne.
Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Odessa Adams-Payne. I want to talk to you a little bit this morning about our new J. Wayne Leonard Prosperity Center. Almost a month ago, we held our ribbon-cutting ceremony and our grand opening to begin our partnership with the city and the work that we're doing with the workforce development partners under the network of economic opportunity. We have negotiated our contract and are looking forward to signing it in the very near future. But in the J. Wayne Leonard Center, there's going to be some wonderful things that are going to be taking place. We're going to be getting referrals from the 5 opportunity centers. That's Strive NOLA, Total Community Action, the Urban League of Greater New Orleans, Goodwill Industries, and Job One. Currently, we're working with Strive One, and Strive NOLA, and we're having some amazing results. We're also going to be working with Job One, and those participants are going to come through the J. Wayne Leonard Center Prosperity Center to get financial capability services such as financial education, financial coaching, financial counseling, credit counseling and credit building, access to affordable financial products, free tax preparation services, the individual development account, and also training for those assets that they purchase through our individual development account. We're looking forward to this partnership, and we're also going to be mobile for the 3 remaining opportunity centers, which is Total Community Action, the Urban League of Greater New Orleans, and also Goodwill Industries. We're looking forward to providing an integrated service delivery to all of the people that come through our Prosperity Center. Over the years, we've offered fragmented services, and this is a strategy that United Way is using, the integrated service delivery, to make sure that we have more comprehensive and services that looks at the whole person, not just one piece of them. So again, we opened our J. Wayne Leonard Prosperity Center almost a month ago, and we're looking forward to the partnership that we have with the center and the wonderful services and opportunities that will be available for the participants that come to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you, Odessa. We appreciate your ongoing leadership and support. Now, and as I referenced earlier, much of our work today focuses on advocacy and policy changes that will have systemic impact. And so I'd like to call on Kirby Jane Nagel, our Public Information Officer, who will be speaking on behalf of Charmaine Cassiope, our Executive Vice President, Chief Operating Officer.
Good morning, all, and thank you so much. Thank you, Michael, for hosting this call this morning. I do have a few brief reports from public policy to share. Certainly, our public policy team and those who participated in 5 Awake, the documentary short on the changes, historic changes to domestic violence laws and protections in Louisiana, has continued to grow. And in November alone, we actually did 2 nationwide screenings. So our team traveled to Publicis, a company out of New York that hosted a 5 Awake screening and panel discussion for their staff of 75 with the United for Domestic Violence team, including Charmaine Cassiope, Kim Sport, Representative now City Council Member at Large Helena Moreno and Beth Meeks to share again their work about domestic violence legislation successfully passed in Louisiana. They also traveled to Colorado, Family to Family Support Network. They hosted a 5-week screening and panel discussion yet again at the Landmark Theater in Greenwood Village, Colorado. And Charmaine and Kim had a conversation with an audience of about 100 attendees on the film, and again, that legislation that really is landmark legislation for Louisiana, but is affecting change now across the country, and we're just so honored to be able to spread that message. Last month, the public policy team attended Louisiana's Women's and Policy Research Commission meeting again, and Kim Sport, as always, provided her domestic violence policy updates as she is a leader in the state on that front. Our team also attended the Louisiana Institute for Children and Families, their 3rd annual Louisiana Angels Gala at the World War II Museum, celebrating those in our state who are making the difference in the lives of children through foster care and adoption. And that is work that is critical to the well-being of children all across our service area. Once again, Kim Sport, we mentioned it, previewed it on last month's call, but just want to say that the ceremony and event was just fantastic for her induction into the Hall of Fame at the 27th anniversary of the Louisiana Center for Women in Government and Business. And again, that was just recognition for her achievements in breast cancer, domestic violence, and volunteer leadership. We were fortunate, the public policy team was fortunate to take a tour of the Plaquemines Community Care Center just last week and really get a chance to better understand the challenges that a parish as large as Plaquemine faces in providing adequate care to those who are in need of so many services that the care center provides there. For those of you that don't know, Plaquemines, which is in our service area, is actually the largest parish in Louisiana by total area. So you can imagine folks that are on the north end and the south end of the parish have a difficult time receiving care if one location is on the north and they live in the south. There are a lot of challenges there, particularly for those who live in poverty. So we look forward to examining ways in which we can increase the supports there in Plaquemines. Lastly, Kim Sport, Charmaine, and Mary Claire Landrew of New Orleans Family and Justice Center were fortunate to be able to provide testimony just last Friday at the Senate Select on Women and Children's Committee hearing. The agenda included a review of sexual harassment policy for the Louisiana legislature. And I know moving forward, our Women United group is looking at ways in which they can affect change in the hot topic of sexual harassment and making sure that we're providing protections and the pieces of regulations and rules that are in place so that folks don't live in silence anymore. And I know that they're very excited about diving into that topic. So, Michael, that's the report I have on behalf of Charmaine Cassiope for this month's public policy work.
Thank you, Kirby, and special thanks to our Public Policy Committee Chairman, Kim Sport, who's been leading this work for us for some time now. It's important that we also share with you that Your United Way always wants to ensure that we're transparent, we're accountable for every dollar that you give to us. I'd like to ask our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Debbie Modlin, to give us a finance update.
Thank you, Michael, for that introduction. Again, I am Deborah Modlin, and as the CFO of the United Way Southeast Louisiana, I am happy to report we have completed our annual audit report and 990 tax return for our fiscal year end June 30th, 2017. The audit firm of Postlethwaite Netterville performed our audit and rendered an unmodified or clean audit opinion. No single audit was required as we did not meet the threshold of having federal expenditures totaling $750,000 or more. Postlethwaite Netterville reported no adjusting entries and had no management comments, meaning no suggested improvements for our board to address. This is the best audit opinion an organization can achieve. Postlethwaite Netterville also prepared our 990, which is the tax return for nonprofits. All United Ways calculate their overhead each year using their current tax return and a prescribed formula provided by United Way Worldwide. Our overhead percentage based on our June 30th tax return is 16.57%. This is a decrease from the prior fiscal year rate of 19.13%. We attribute this decrease to following our strategic business plan, having our annual budgets, and all employees' performance evaluations linked to our strategic goals. It is important to note that a nonprofit's overhead rate is the organizational cost that provides the infrastructure to raise and distribute these funds and to ensure the organization is in compliance with all legal requirements. It is equally important to look at a nonprofit's mission and determine if they are fulfilling their mission through their programmatic accomplishments, which are listed in their 990. A nonprofit can have a very low overhead percentage, but doing very little programmatic work towards achieving their mission. You can find our audit report and tax returns on our website. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Debbie, and thank you to all the volunteers that serve on our finance committee that help us do this work. You know, the lifeblood oftentimes of our work is to raise the resources to support the programs and collaborations that we invest in on your behalf. And so once again, we want to thank you for that. And here to give you an update on some of our recent efforts in resource development campaign, Lee Thorpe, our Vice President of Resource Development Marketing.
Thank you all. Good morning. I am excited to announce that our campaign has kicked off in September and is moving very swiftly through our campaign season, which closes on March 31st. We have more than 230 campaigns that are running, some of which that have already closed include Shell Oil Company, Centerpoint Energy, Entergy of New Orleans, Entergy in also in Washington, Tangipahoa, St. Tammany parishes, as well as many others throughout our 7-parish region. We are really excited to announce that the 15th anniversary of our Women United group, formerly the Women's Leadership Council, had its 15-year celebration on December 8th at the Arbor Room in City Park with celebration of our 50 founding members. Many of our founding members were there in attendance, as well as our founding chair, Kim Sport, who was excited to announce all of the incredible work that Women United Women's Leadership Council has done over the last 15 years to support the work of women and children throughout our region. Work including early childhood education, domestic violence, financial education, and other issues that are very important to women and children in our community. In addition to the $2.5 million in financial investments that Women United has given throughout the last 15 years, the most important work especially is the advocacy efforts that it has spearheaded since its inception, including the work that the Women's United group has done has been our public policy committee that was founded once again through Women United. And through the event on December 8th, we were able to highlight our legislative champions in 2017 who were integral in our work to make sure that we're supporting Alice and those living in poverty and make sure that our blueprint for prosperity is a success. Those legislative champions included Governor John Bell Edwards and First Lady Donna Edwards, Speaker Pro Tem, the Honorable Walt Leger, Representative Helena Moreno, Senator J.P. Morrell, Representative Melinda White, Representative John Schroeder, and Senator Sharon Hewitt. We were so thrilled to have so many of our legislative champions in attendance. We also celebrated the work of our hidden hero, our own Odessa Adams Payne, who you just heard from a moment ago, who has been so incredibly integral in our work to eradicate poverty in our community. And we're so proud to have a member of our team like Odessa as our legislative champion this year. I'm also excited to report that on January 13th, Saturday, January 13th, United Way will be kicking off our tricentennial year with our Martin Luther King Day of Service. It will be held from 9 a.m. to noon in the Central City area of New Orleans at Hoffman Prep Head Start School and Sylvania Williams College Prep. We expect more than 300 attendees, and we are really excited for this community revitalization project to encourage other people in our community to get involved in our tricentennial celebration and to be involved in our work to give, advocate, and volunteer across Southeast Louisiana.
Thank you, Lee. And once again, to all of our donors, advocates, and volunteers, this work could not be done without your financial resources, but also your time and your voice. So on behalf of United Way of Southeast Louisiana, our staff, our volunteers, our Board of Trustees, I want to simply say thank you, wish you a happy holiday season, and look in your inbox for the next update and note on when we'll host our next call. We hope you have a great rest of your week. Thank you, and good afternoon.